Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. My name is Huda London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. This is the case of the Idaho 4. May the 4 victims rest in peace. Condolence to the families. Today I'd like to talk a bit about the Venmos that were paid right before the unalivings that night. Not only are they interesting, they're important. The timeline is so close to the quadruples. When these Venmos were paid, the caption that was made was for 3:30 a.m. It was paid on the 12th, on the 11th. For this incident, I believe, the caption says 3:30. It was paid by Molly Gray, who is a sorority sister and friend of Kaylee, to Liz Catridge, her best friend, who happens to be a sorority sister to both Kaylee and Molly Gray. All three are sorority sisters. They belong to Kaylee's sorority. And they're interesting. So whoever was digging through Ethan's last Venmo payment, they checked it was to Jack Catridge, and I remember Jack Catridge sent Ethan a payment too, clicked on his page and found a Molly Gray who paid Liz Catridge. That's Jack's sister, Liz Catridge. Now what is interesting is Molly Gray and Liz Catridge, both of them were at the grub truck. Liz Catridge was the one with the big cowboy hat, and the other girl that would be Molly Gray was the one standing with Hayden, the guy with the long hair, and Jovito when the crowd was yelling Zana's name. Could be nothing like the girl said, but could be something. I really believe from the beginning of this case that this is something. This is important. It's kind of strange that everyone was sending $6 each at that specific timing. And the fact that they both come from Kaylee is sorority is interesting. And the fact that Jack Catridge, Liz Catridge's brother, is from the Sigma Key. That's interesting too. And he's the same person who opened the GoFundMe for Ethan. Very interesting. And his friends are Ryan, the guys that said it was the best weekend ever, if you'll remember. The ones I showed you all that were the 4 guys. One of them was carrying a caber or something that looked like a caber. I'll show you all towards the end of this video. But Jack Catridge, his sister Liz Catridge, and Molly Gray are really interesting. And Saeed Sheikh paid his Venmos to David B. His was for 2:13 is when he paid it at. Quite strange. He was watching some pictures on his phone 40 minutes later. So is that what he paid for? Or were these people betting? What was going on? Was there a fight club? Just interested to know. Things don't make sense. On the left side of my thumbnail is Molly Gray and Liz Catridge. They're the ones who are paying the Venmos and with the caption 3:30. That's why I believe the unalivings were all done by 3:33. Liz Catridge is at the grub truck with a big hat. And look at the picture she's watching. I personally find all this to be interesting. This is the other picture Jovito was watching, the one on the right. although I'm clear over that it's blurry. This is exactly what he was watching when you zoom into it. I don't know what she's watching on. Somebody's lying on the floor. Allegedly. This is all my speculation, my theories, and my opinions only. So Molly Gray and Liz Catowich were paying Jack Catowich, Liz Catowich's brother, the man who opened the Venmos. The man was not only collecting the Venmos, he opened a GoFundMe for Ethan, and he paid the first $6. What were all these people watching? Is my question. In the beginning of this case, we had 3 Jacks. It's strange enough, Jack D and Jack Schwalter talked about a lot, but Jack Catowich was never put in the category of people of interest. But yet again, he was opening GoFundMes, collecting Venmos. Don't they need to ask some questions? And the fact that he was from the Sigma Key, he would have seen Ethan. Where was he when Ethan and Zana were unalived? And furthermore, he's good friends with Maddie. So I personally believe if he was involved, it would have been more with Maddie and Kaylee, the older lot, the seniors. But you never know. He could have had beef with Ethan and Zana. Why was he opening Venmos, GoFundMes? And how come the Chapin family is working so well with the Sigma Key? Just a question. This doesn't make sense at all. Trigger warning. I know this is really blurry, but you can let me know what you see. This is what they were watching at the grub truck. This person looks like Ethan to me. Look at the hair. The person looks like they're sitting on the floor, kneeling their back on something. This is when the crowd was yelling Zana. Is this Ethan? What did they do to the poor man? And pay attention to the legs. It looks like his legs are tied up. But let's not forget, they tortured the poor young man. I'm not sure if this is Ethan. I'm not saying this is Ethan. I know this is really a blurry image, but somebody who's good in technology could have maybe filtered it out and check out what they see. It looks like somebody sitting on the floor, and you can see red liquid on the left-hand side, or something red. This is on the grub truck. Pay attention to what they all are watching on their devices. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I'm not saying that it's right, and these pictures are blurry, but I'm just interested in finding out what happened that night. And they drew my attention because I could see that they all were watching some pictures. That's how I first discovered these pictures 3 years ago. And I have more than these pictures. But it's just that they all are blurry, but you can see figures on the floor. I wonder if Ethan, his hair was still long and kind of bushy. Because that's what I see in all the pictures that they're watching at the grub truck. Ethan has a lot of hair. May he rest in peace. But this clearly looks like a human being. And this looks like somebody in the sitting position tied up. What were these people doing? Were they terrorizing these kids? Which they did. Why are we lying? This is torture. Everything that happened that night was torture. Who goes around cutting someone is left behind their left ear and their thigh and inner thigh and outer thigh? What are these, surgeons? This wasn't Jack the Ripper, so what was going on? I am focused on DM's report. DM said that she thought that Jack Showalter did it. And she said she doesn't know him. She's pretending she doesn't know him. Yet again, they graduated from Boise, Idaho high school together. The same year. Same time. They both are from Boise, and many of the other students are from Boise. Like Jake, Maddie's boyfriend, Quinn Kelly, Jack Showalter. And then Bethany Funk said that she doesn't know Jack Showalter either. Isn't that interesting? Because she's sitting on his lap. We have a picture of that. But what is interesting is Bethany Funk said that her friend told her that the friend's boyfriend said that Showalter had anger issues, anger management. So they were scared to mess around with him. For people to be warning each other about Showalter, I smell trouble. 3:30 that night, 13th of November, somebody was seen outside 1122 King Road with this mask on. It was put up on Geo's Snapchat. What's interesting is David Berry said that, oh, they were all attacking me. They even said that it was me. And then he went and took a thumbnail of mine that I put many of my videos side by side with David Berry and this guy in the mask. So he literally went and made it about himself. David Berry was there that night. The only sad thing is we can't get to know exactly what his involvement and David Lodge's involvement was. They still haven't come out in the reports, and they weren't even named as witness. Nobody saw Zana and Ethan that night. No pictures were taken with them. Not on any social media. Isn't that strange? Bethany Funk said that she saw Zana lying on the floor. And she didn't do anything. So did DM. None of them mentioned Ethan. Quite strange. Trigger warning. Eric Gower said that Maddie couldn't stand on her feet. Maddie was really intoxicated. But when we saw Maddie at the corner club, she looked quite all right. She was on her phone. Everything was cool with Maddie. When she was walking down to the grub truck, she could barely walk. I wonder whatever number 9 put in Maddie's mouth, allegedly, if that made her OD, and if BF and DM are lying. Maddie could have been the first one to have OD'd, actually. Why was there rumors of ODs going on? And I've heard a lot about that guy with the tank top. Drew. I'm working on him. Apparently, heard a lot of rumors that he could be involved, allegedly. The whole of the grub truck was watching this. So I just remembered what Eric Gower said. Maddie could barely stand on her feet. Wonder what happened to Maddie. May she rest in peace. This picture is the most important, one of the most important pictures for me. The fact that she uploaded this picture on a Visco DM at 3:33 says a lot. Look at her fingers and her nails. They look fine. But when the police come, it's all discolored. It's all dark. We have Peyton here. She's a friend of Molly Gray and Liz Katovich. And we saw us talking to Kaylee at the grub truck. I believe she was distracting Kaylee while number 9 was putting something in Maddie's mouth, in my opinion. Wonder what she's carrying in her bag. It's quite late to be carrying a big bag. This one was paid on the 13th of November at 2:13 from Saeed Sheikh to David Berry. It states there. So why were all these people paying Venmos at a certain time? Saeed was at the Banfield, Molly Gray and Liz Katovich were at the grub truck, so was Kaylee and Maddie. Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. Talking about the Venmos, the timing the Venmos was sent around was very odd timings. It started from the 12th when it comes to Molly Gray and Liz Katovich. They started sending it on the 12th, a night before, and it was captioned for 3:30 for the next day. Saeed's Venmos were paid at the same night, and they were paid at 2:13. Pay attention, 2:15 is when 4chan said that there was rummaging upstairs at 2:15, and the surviving roommates thought it was the Sigma Chi fraternity boys. And the reason that this all sticks out to me is because let's not forget, Jack Katovich is from the Sigma Chi, and he's the one taking the Venmo payment from Saeed. And then you have David Berry taking the Venmo from Saeed. Jack Katovich from the Sigma Chi is taking the Venmos from his sister. That would be Liz Katovich and her friend Molly Gray, who both happen to be sorority sisters of Kaylee. The reason I say that is from the very beginning when I heard of Kaylee's brutal attack and how many injuries she received, especially to the face, the head, and such areas. The head made me think more like it would be men, someone with a strong power, but the poking on the face and all automatically made me think like it sounds more like jealousy, revenge, something that could come from another female. Just speculating. For some reason, Kaylee was hated the most, in my opinion. Or some people had some serious beef with Kaylee, that they needed to get these quadruples done on the 13th of November. The only day Kaylee would come back with the SUV. Or sorry, her Jeep. How did Kaylee afford this Jeep? They say always follow the money. And I know that Kaylee took a loan from the bank, obviously. But I'm talking about the $7,500 that she paid up front. Money could be a motive for people to get people back easy. So I'm just speculating, I'm just wondering, what was it with Kaylee? And it was DM who allegedly called Kaylee back. So DM would know exactly the answer. I'm just wondering why Hunter and Shawalta are distancing themselves from Kaylee. I wonder why the roommates are distancing themselves from Jack Schwarter. There's a lot of distance going on from people towards each other. But why aren't the Sigma Key fraternity boys being looked into? Their Venmos, their GoFundMes. Because let's not forget the last two victims, Zan and Ethan, were there that night. What could have happened? Is that why Hunter Chapman looks so shocked and is quiet? Because he knows he could be next, allegedly? I believe Anonymous was on point. Anonymous was telling us the truth. Anonymous could have been someone related to one of the victims or a good friend. Somebody wanted to expose the people who did these crimes. Saeed was watching pictures of Kaylee in the sitting position at the Banfield, and more pictures, more disturbing, concerning pictures. Let me know what y'all think about it. I think the surviving roommates know exactly what happened. But right now, Jack Schwarter, Jack D, the surviving roommates look suspicious. And they're on the reports. Their reports look suspicious. So let me know what y'all think. Please like, share, and subscribe. May the victims rest in peace, and may Tommy Jude rest in peace too.